Please note that this content is for adults only. Viewer discretion advised. If you haven't yet, hit the subscribe, like, and share. Hello everyone and welcome back to another live stream with me, Grizzly. This is Grizzly True Crime, and today we're actually going to be discussing another cold case. We recently discovered the Lovers Lane murders. That was a cold case breakthrough after decades as well. Today we're going to discuss the case of Ashley Okland, which dates back to 2011. So it was a cold case for 15 years. And then, just the other day, there was an arrest made. And it was a woman. And while the link between Ashley, who was a real estate agent, and the woman isn't super clear, oh, there's already a couple of clues there. There's a couple of clues. Oh my goodness. So we're going to deep dive the case. Don't worry if you don't know anything. I didn't know anything either. I didn't hear about this case until recently, and I'm like, what? And the more I look at it, the more you find, and you're like, wow, I have to share this case with you. I'm excited that you're here with me so that we can deep dive it and see what this breaking news was together. What a beautiful woman Ashley Okland was, only 27 years old when she was killed while working and in broad daylight. So that is also what made this case, very popular in the media over the years, because they were like, how can someone be shot in broad daylight at work? And then they just had no answers until now. Okay, so I'm going to quickly bring up this presentation for you. And I'll show you some clips from the press conference that they held and everything. And I've linked the full press conference in the description box below. We're going to get there. So Ashley Okland, 27. She was born on December 30th of 1983 in Ames, Iowa, to Tim Okland and Deb Cochran. She was the oldest of 3 siblings, and her brother is Josh Okland, and her sister is Brittany Bruce. She had 33 cousins, 33 of them. Damn, big family, right? So we will hear from Josh, her brother, and Brittany, her sister, from the most recent press conference, which happened on March 18th of 2026. Today is March 30th of 2026. So I'm going to show you that as well. She grew up in Huxley, Iowa, and attended Ballard High School. She studied at the University of Iowa for 2 years, and then she transferred to Iowa State University, where she graduated in 2006 with a degree in exercise science. So she was intending to become a physical therapist, but then after graduating, she pivoted her career to becoming a licensed real estate agent. Apparently the market back then was absolutely booming, so it was a good career move, and she was very successful at it as well. Okay, I see you guys are all saying hi still to each other. Thank you so much for being here. Ashley entered real estate in 2007. She worked at Century 21, and then she joined Iowa Realty in 2010. This was Iowa's largest real estate firm. By early 2011, she was extremely successful in her career, and her brother Josh worked as her assistant. And he remembers helping her conceptualize pamphlets that they were designing together at Panera, which I think is Panera Bread Company, right? And that was just the day before she was murdered. So he just says he just remembers that day in detail. She was so excited about her work. She was such a beautiful person inside and out. And no one would have thought the next day at 27 years old, her life would be taken from her. Lawrence, thank you so much. You said G is the best. Thank you, Mods. Thank you so much. And yes, thank you, Mods. Welcome, everyone. Lawrence, thank you also for the sticker. I really appreciate your support. And Deb, thanks for being a member for 30 months. You said justice for Ashley. Yes, Shaman, over all these years, her family, along the way was like, are we ever going to have answers? Will there ever be justice? Shame. So she was also passionate about helping children and volunteered at Big Brothers and Big Sisters and Young Variety, which are children's charities. She loved to travel. She was close to her family, and she enjoyed spending time with her friends. If you are local, please let me know as well if you are in the chat. Barb M1077 said, I'm in Des Moines. I remember this well. Thanks for covering it. Des Moines, right? Is that how I say it? The S is silent, right? Des Moines? Hope I said it right. Locals, let me know. I do love that we have such an international community, and no matter where the case is that I'm covering, there's always somebody or a group of people from there, and then you guys help me with all the local pronunciations as well. So let's get to the day of the crime, then I'm going to show you some vintage news clips, meaning news clips from like 14 years ago, okay? So, April 8th of 2011, Ashley arrived at the model townhome at 558 Stone Creek Court in the Stone Creek Villa subdivision in West Des Moines, Iowa. So that, just a YouTube disclaimer, that is public record for 15 years now. No one's being doxxed or anything like that. There's not private information being shared. That is the address that the police have shared where the crime took place, right? Rando from Iowa. Here you are. You from Iowa? Yes, you said yes, silent S in Des Moines. Lol, love the Grizzlies. Thank you so much for being a member for 40 months. Now, this unit was a staged 3-bed, 2.5-bath townhome built and marketed, pay attention, to Rutland Homes. Okay, she was hosting a routine open house alone, which was standard practice at the time. That's changed since this case. The open house was underway in the early afternoon. No exact time has been released, but the open houses in that era typically ran from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. or 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. So I would think that what she was doing with that open house that day was she was there from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. based on the timeline of the crime. Although actually, it could actually be the other one too. We're going to get to this timeline now. 17 Susie Q said, so happy to be back with my favorite people. Thank you so much, Susie. Okay, so that is a picture of the address of the house. And so, on that day, April 8th, 2011, at 1:55 p.m., Ashley sent a text to someone. The police have been exceptionally vague about that, but her family said that it was a normal, non-emergency text that she had sent to a friend. Within 5 minutes after that last text message was sent, Ashley was shot. Once in the chest and once in the head. And that also tells you that the person who was there and killed her, they meant to kill her. Because to shoot someone in the chest and the head, yeah, you're making sure that there's no chance of them surviving, right? Okay, so again, text message 1:55 p.m., shortly before 2 p.m., Ashley shot once in the chest, once in the head. There were no signs of a struggle. Her mother told KCCI News in May of 2011, I think she knew the person because there was no struggle. I'm sure she looked up, gave a big smile, and probably that was it. Police have never released the exact sequence, weapon details, or whether the shooter was already inside or entered during the open house. A Rutland Homes employee working nearby in the same complex heard a commotion, not described as hearing gunshots, coming from inside the model townhome. The employee went to investigate, entered the home, and found Ashley on the floor with gunshot wounds, and they called 911. All right, so I'm going to leave it there so that I can now show you some of these clips here that I've got for you. From the top.
A West Des Moines townhome development is now a crime scene. Shortly after 2 o'clock, a worker for Rutland Homes, the company that developed the area, heard a commotion inside this model townhome and went to check it out.
They heard a commotion, right? Didn't say that they heard a gunshot, just the commotion, and went over and found the subject on the floor.
Inside, she found 27-year-old real estate agent Ashley Okland. She was shot twice, once in the head and once in the chest.
When we arrived, found a subject on the floor, appeared to have had 2 gunshot wounds.
Okland was taken to Methodist Medical Center in downtown Des Moines, but the Polk County Medical Examiner says she most likely died even before making it to the hospital. As for who could have done this,
right now investigators are canvassing the area and talking to witnesses.
Police are still searching.
It's so early in the investigation, don't have any suspects, so couldn't tell you anybody of interest.
Police say they do believe it was an isolated incident.
This is a terrible tragedy and really an unprecedented tragedy, and our hearts and our prayers go out to the family,
Brennan Buckley with Ira Realty says the company is devastated by the loss.
I think Ashley had the reputation really of just being one of the nicest people that you'd ever meet. She was an excellent real estate agent and just an all-around really nice person. Everybody, I think, would say that had come across her.
Good afternoon. We have new information.
Okay, now hold on. Before we get to this new information, I just want to remind you of what we just said, because this is important, okay? Shortly before 2 p.m., Ashley was shot once in the chest and once in the head. There were no signs of a struggle. Her mother said, I think she knew the person because there was no struggle. I'm sure she looked up, gave a big smile, and probably that was it. Police have never released the exact sequence, weapon details, or whether the shooter was already inside or entered during the open house. Now this detail, a Rutland home employee working nearby in the same complex heard a commotion, not described as hearing gunshots coming from inside the model townhome. And the employee went to investigate, entered the home, and found Ashley on the floor with gunshot wounds and called 911. Okay, now I'm sure you're curious if this is your first time exploring the case, right? Like who was that person? Now let's get to the clip that I was about to show you because they talk a little bit about it. Okay, here we go.
Information about the woman who found Ashley Okland.
News Channel 8 has learned that the person who found Okland disappeared 2 weeks after the murder. Emily Price is working this story. And Emily, what can you tell us?
Well, this is a missing persons report filed on April 25th, 17 days after the Okland murder. It's for a woman who lives in the neighborhood where Okland was found. She is also the same person who found Okland and called police. Here's what we know from police records. The woman's mother called police on April 25th, just before 7 p.m. She told police she was concerned for her daughter, who was last seen around midnight. The missing woman apparently told her mother that she was going to a hotel to commit.
You can read on the screen. I just redacted that for YouTube.
A bottle of pills and a knife with her. The woman is 53 years old and was driving a Jeep Liberty. She was later found alive, and police considered that case closed. Police have all along said they have no suspects and have been asking for the public's help in finding the killer. Today they say they know about this incident, but they don't yet know if it relates to the murder case. They confirm they still don't have a suspect. Before we uncovered these latest developments, we sat down with Lieutenant Jim Barrett of the West Des Moines Police Department. Is it something where you're sort of just waiting on tests to come back and you have someone in mind, or are there truly no suspects?
We don't have one suspect that we're focusing on. We continue to, again, look at the information we have and where that takes us.
Please don't. I don't want this to be right. Please.
Okay, I'm just going to pause it there. So let me already make it clear that the woman we just heard about, the one who went missing 2 weeks after Ashley's murder and told her mother that she was going to self-delete and she was found alive, that's not who's been arrested. That woman was 53 years old at the time, okay? Now, ironically, the woman who's just been arrested for Ashley's murder after 15 years of an investigation, she's 53 years old right now. But if you go back 15 years, the woman who heard a commotion, went to check out what was going on in that townhome, found Ashley shot, lying on the floor, and called 911. That woman is a different woman, okay? Not arrested, not involved in the case, just the person who found Ashley, which must be very traumatic. Okay, so at least we could find some information on that, right? Okay, so paramedics responded to the scene and they transported Ashley to Iowa Methodist Medical Center in Des Moines, where she was pronounced deceased. West Des Moines police arrived and treated the crime scene as a homicide. The case immediately drew intense media attention because it happened in broad daylight during a public open house. John Hanks said, did they find the pew-pew? Did she own a... Is this YouTube language? I will just say, did they find the gun? Did she own one? I haven't read anything like that. So they've been very vague about that as well, right? So who discovered Ashley? 2011 news reports, especially from KCCI, described the person who found Ashley and called 911 as a woman. On April 25th of 2011, 17 days later, that same woman's mother reported her missing. We just went over these clips after she said she was going to a hotel to commit self-deletion. It was stated the woman was 53 years old at the time. There were reports of a black SUV seen in the area at the time of Ashley's murder. Police received hundreds of tips mentioning a black SUV or a black Cadillac Escalade spotted near Stone Creek Court around the time that Ashley was killed. Police actively tried to identify the driver and the vehicle. One man who drove a similar black Escalade was looked at early on. He was an acquaintance or associate of Ashley's, but he was cleared. So that's what the police said along the way, that he was cleared. Now, he later died by self-deletion, which fueled online speculation, but was never officially linked to the crime by the police. So that's all along the way. A lot of coincidences, a lot of things happening, a lot of people looking, shame at the woman who found Ashley and called 911, and then also this guy because he had a black SUV and so many tips called in there was a black SUV there that day. So who was that man? I was also curious, like surely after 15 years we know the name, at least we know who the person was, right? Okay, so his name was Joseph Cruz or Cruiser, 52 years old. He was described as a colleague or acquaintance of Ashley's. So he's a similar age to the woman who found Ashley, right? Anyway, I'm just stating it. There's no connection there necessarily, but an acquaintance or colleague of Ashley's. Police questioned him early on in the investigation because he knew Ashley and drove a black SUV. About 2 months after Ashley's death, in June of 2011, Joseph died by self-deletion inside his black SUV near Van Meter, Iowa, from a self-inflicted gunshot wound to the head. His death was attributed publicly to financial problems and being upset about Ashley's murder. He was reportedly distraught over her death. There was never any official evidence linking him to the killing, right? So, a real estate agent, this is a little newspaper clip. It says a real estate agent, West Des Moines police talked to in connection with the death of Ashley Okland killed himself this month. Family members say Joseph Cruz, 52, of Maxwell, died of a gunshot wound to the head on June 8th, exactly 2 months from the day that Okland, an Iowa Realty company real estate agent, was shot at a West Des Moines model townhouse. Cruz's body was found inside his black SUV near a Van Meter residence. The death is being investigated by the Dallas County Sheriff's Department as self-deletion. Cruz's sister, Tammy Coles, said West Des Moines police talked to Cruz and cleared him of any involvement in the murder. West Des Moines police declined to comment on whether Cruz, an employee of, and that's where the little clip cuts off there. So, but apparently he was cleared. Okay, now, also, let's quickly see. Kelly Smith said, did they ever find out why the woman wanted to unalive herself? They didn't state the obvious, I guess, but being upset to find a colleague like that, shot, lying on the floor, calling 911. No. So Ashley's funeral was held April 12th of 2011 at, that's a difficult word to say, Feldberg Lutheran Church in Huxley, Iowa. The visitation was open to the public and many friends, colleagues from the real estate community and locals attended to pay their respects. A celebration of life was held on April 14th of 2011, and tributes highlighted her as always the angel. A private burial followed the celebration of life for Ashley. Shame. So you could find clips of that as well. Don't have that for you now, but there are some clips if you do want to see the celebration of life as well on YouTube. Ashley was in a long-term relationship with her boyfriend, Eric Grubb, and she had a puppy called Indy. Her murder led to major safety changes in the real estate industry across Iowa. For example, buddy systems, safety apps, and check-in policies for agents showing homes alone. An accessible playground for children with special needs was built in her honor at Ewing Park in Des Moines. Shame, and there's her dog. Now let's talk about the investigation. Within the first few years, investigators followed up on roughly 900 leads and interviewed about 500 people. The case quickly went cold despite intense local attention. The Iowa Attorney General's cold case unit became involved and worked alongside WDMPD. There were no eyewitnesses. These are some of the challenges, right? There were no eyewitnesses to the shooting, there was no clear motive or obvious suspects, and the tight-knit real estate community made some connections challenging to untangle. So they were all very close, and the police just said it was difficult to untangle all of that, get people to talk, right? Over the years, advances in forensic technology like DNA, ballistics retesting, maybe digital records were likely applied, though the specifics remain undisclosed. As I say, they're keeping a lot close to the vest because they say they would like a successful prosecution in this case. So they're really protecting the investigation to the point where they say not much is going to be released until after trial. Well, they said until trial or until after trial, right? River said, here we always thought it was a male. I did see some older articles that also said that it was a male that found Ashley, but this is now, I think, been clarified by the clips that I showed, I would assume, right? The clips that I showed, some other articles, I think it was that lady who found her. But yeah, I did see some articles as well, because that's what got me down the rabbit hole. I'm like, so it was a man or woman? Like who found Ashley? You know, because I don't know. I guess everybody's mind will go there. Wait, who found her? They heard a commotion. They didn't hear gunshots. What's going on? And especially when it's reported as, is it a male? Is it a female? What? We want to know more, right? So, okay. These were the tip lines, of course, if you saw something, heard something, know something, recorded something. I don't know, whatever it may have been from April 8th of 2011 or along the way. And you have not yet called in the tip that you might have. Please do. It could help the prosecution, of course, strengthen their case as they work to prosecute the person they've now arrested after 15 years. Oh my goodness. Okay, so let's quickly see. Panache Luxury said, love the play area that was dedicated to Ashley, right? Okay, so Irene said, that's why I vaguely remember this because of the changes made. Sure, I can't imagine along the way. Imagine the speculation along the way. I'm sure people looked at everybody, right? Everybody was probably side-eyeing everybody, and for 15 years. Now, on or around the April 8th anniversary, Josh, Ashley's brother, would regularly speak to the media, particularly KCCI News, to keep the case in the public eye, ask for new tips, and express the family's ongoing hope for justice. This happened for more than a decade. My family was so dedicated, always making sure to keep her case in the spotlight, making sure that people knew. Please contact the tip lines if you know anything. Around 2019, the 8th anniversary, investigators launched a dedicated website called Answers for Ashley to solicit new tips. The first major press conference was announced March 18th of 2026. Oh my goodness, the day after the investigation led to an arrest. Can you imagine how massive that day was for the community? I mean, if you're from the community, tell me how did that feel when you heard it? It's like an arrest was made after 15 years of just no answers. Hundreds of tips and leads, sealed search warrants, lots of search warrants were executed all over the place, and they said they were sealed. So much going on, and then there was an arrest made. So here's a little clip from who they arrested. We're going to get into that. Ramsey, they arrested a lady called Kristin Ramsey, then 38, so 38 years old at the time. Ashley was 27, right? Allegedly killed Ashley Okland with malice aforethought, willfully, deliberately, and with premeditation, according to the indictment. I got a copy of that thanks to Grizzly Cat. I'm going to show it to you. The motive behind the murder remains unknown, with the only apparent connection between Okland and her suspected killer being through the real estate industry. Because Ramsey was indicted, no probable cause affidavit outlining how investigators connected her to the cold case has been filed. Now we're going to get into, hold on, let me just see where this clip is. Okay, wait. We first want to see some clips before I show you all of that. Okay, we're going to be deep diving who the heck they arrested and how they might have known Ashley. But let's first look at some of these.
For Ashley Okland's mother and brother,
it'll never be the same. Day-to-day life will always be different.
Life without Ashley is awful, not just because they miss her terribly, but because there are no answers.
You can think of anybody. I try not to think about who it could be. because it
brother?
doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense to any of us.
So that's her brother speaking. And some of these clips, as I say, it's from 14 years ago. And this would be, they're showing footage from the crime scene.
It never will.
It doesn't make sense. An active 27-year-old woman shot twice inside this model home around 2 o'clock in the afternoon. It doesn't make sense, but there are some clues.
I think she knew the person because there was no, struggle. I'm sure she looked up, gave a big smile, and
Shame her mom.
and then she probably, that was it.
The family says Okland sent a text message to a friend less than 5 minutes before she was shot, and it was not a plea for help.
Ashley trusted everybody. She was always so positive. It never seemed, it wouldn't cross her mind to think that someone was, not there just to do business.
We've learned that West Des Moines police have interviewed 370 people and chased nearly 600 leads, but 42 days later, those leads have not produced a suspect.
Shame. At the time, they're like 42 days later. Oh my word. Imagine if they knew, Shame, that it would take 15 years for an arrest to be made. That is just so long for the family to wait for answers as well, right? And of course, the person who's been arrested is presumed innocent unless proven guilty in a court of law. And her defense attorneys are like, she is absolutely innocent. How dare you arrest our client? And like, they're fighting today, by the way. Today, they're fighting in court. There's motions being heard by the person who was arrested's defense team to try to get her a lower bond. We're going to get into those details in a moment. Let's just first watch some of these clips.
I plead from the bottom of my heart, if somebody's out there and knows anything, if you can't call the police or Crime Stoppers, tell a friend, have somebody please call, because we need some kind of closure.
And if someone does know a lot or know something, there's a large reward offered, they might as well come forward soon, because, they're running out of time, and the West Des Moines police will find out either way, who and what.
The reward is a record $75,000.
Well, there was a tremendous sense of loss of the real estate community from Ashley's death, and a lot of people that really were very generous in trying to contribute to that fund to be able to see some end come to this.
Chuck Stoll was Okland's boss at Iowa Realty. He says some realtors were so shaken by what happened, they still won't hold an open house. The family knows realtors who have quit altogether.
All the ways that we're doing business and have done historically all of a sudden get questioned in a short moment when something like this happens.
Josh Okland and his sister Brittany want to use their sister's death as a way to make real change in the real estate world.
We've kind of figured if this can happen in West Des Moines, Iowa, it can happen anywhere. We'd think it's regulations and rules, maybe should be tweaked and changed. Right now they have a sign-in book, but that doesn't do a whole lot.
The Oklands want a safety plan, security cameras at open houses, and realtors working in teams.
So this did happen. Ashley's siblings fought hard to make sure that other real estate agents will be kept safe, because they're like, well, being in an open house alone is actually very dangerous. Everyone felt safe until then. Then they're like, we need to make sure that, as they just said, there will be cameras installed, that there's a buddy system, that they can use apps, and that they also know exactly who's going to meet them there that day, and all of that, right?
Josh knows it won't bring his sister back, and it won't bring answers, but it is something positive to focus on until her killer is caught and justice is served.
From day one, I kind of just assumed that it's going to take a while. Everything takes a while to do. I guess I haven't been too anxious. I've just known that I trust the West Des Moines police. I know that they are, doing whatever they can and whatever's possible. So I have faith that they will figure it out, and I don't know how long it'll take, but
Shame.
Soon, hopefully.
15 years.
And we're gonna see him speaking at the press conference that happened on March 18th of 2026. So that's part of this clip collection that I have for you.
Years of reflection on Ashley Okland's death has made safety a top priority when selling houses. Gavin Blair, CEO of Iowa Realtors, was a realtor when Okland was killed. He says her death made the realty community think twice on what needed to change.
Realtors immediately were trying to find what happened first off, what can they do to protect themselves, and how can they be safer in their job every day. So immediately the Des Moines area realtors came up with a safety pledge.
That safety pledge has become standard for realtors across the country. The pledge asked realtors to work in pairs, utilize various safety apps, and research clients before meeting one-on-one. The fear that Okland's death caused in the realty community is still felt 15 years later. Blair says this death made a lot of realtors rework how they show houses.
I think it put it in everybody's forefront that, hey, every job's dangerous to some degree, but you really need to take seriously when you're meeting, for example, a client you've never met before. Do your homework, understand who they are, where they came from, their background.
Since the safety pledge was introduced shortly after Okland's death, agencies in all 50 states have started putting the principles into practice. Iowa Realty released a statement to Local 5 saying in part that Ashley Okland's tragic passing was something that not only deeply impacted our company and community, but the national real estate world as a whole.
Yes. Okay, we're going to get to the clips, but I first want to show you the rest of my presentation here. Hold on one second. All right, so let's get to the arrest, everybody. March 17th of 2026, after a 15-year investigation, 53-year-old Kristin, damn it, I spelled her name wrong again. It's Kristin. Okay. Kristin Ramsey was arrested in Woodward, Iowa, where she lived since she was 10 years old. She was indicted by a grand jury on first-degree murder charges for Ashley Okland's murder after a 15-year investigation. A Dallas County grand jury reviewed the evidence and issued an indictment, a true bill. She worked as an administrative assistant and sales manager at Rutland Homes. Oh my goodness, where did we hear that before? What? Do you remember earlier how I'm like, remember that? So she worked as an administrative assistant and sales manager for Rutland Homes in 2011. She'd been there for about 14 years. Her job involved sales, administration, and helping market the new townhomes. So, the townhome that Ashley was at, having the open house, and she was for Iowa Realty, this Rutland Homes, they had built that house. The company had built the house. And the person who was arrested worked for that company as a sales and administrative assistant. Administrative assistant, sales manager. The person who found, the 53-year-old lady who found Ashley, she also worked for Rutland Homes. So I'm just telling you what we've mentioned along the way, right? And Stefan said Rutland was in the same building. Yes, that as well. Oh my word. So I was like, when I saw that, I'm like, what? Like, this must have been shocking when everyone heard this, right? So there's not, again, let's read these. Ramsey currently works for Midland Title and Escrow, an organization that's part of Iowa Realty Company, where Okland worked at the time of her death. You're telling me that this woman worked at that Rutland company, and after Ashley was murdered, she then worked for the company that Ashley was working for? Oh my word. So at the time of the alleged murder, Ramsey was employed there by the now defunct Rutland Homes, which owned the townhomes that Okland had been showing as a realtor. Okland's killings shocked Iowa, Hayes said, and haunted a very frightened community of professional realtors who have forever changed how they conduct open houses. In a statement, the company said it was relieved for Okland's family, but shocked at the arrest of Ramsey, whom the statement identified as an employee of one of its businesses, Midland Title and Escrow. Ramsey began working for the company several months after Okland was killed, according to the statement. Along with everyone in our community, we are understandably stunned, the company said. Officials have not confirmed the connection, but according to Ramsey's LinkedIn profile, she had been working for Rutland Homes, the developer and owner of the townhomes in West Des Moines, where Okland, a realtor, was shot and killed on April 8th of 2011. As significant as this arrest is, our work is not done yet, they said at the press conference. This case will now move to criminal prosecution to maintain the integrity of the judicial process. The West Des Moines Police Department is unable to release any additional investigative information regarding this case, said Assistant Chief Jody Hayes of the WDMPD. So, what do you guys think of that? TNDJ said, oh my word. Tucker said she had to get rid of the competition. Can you imagine, like, the candlelight vigils that were held? Like, the search for Ashley's killer. All the other real estate agents being so frightened. And yet, there was somebody, allegedly, among them that may have known exactly what happened based on the charges she now faces. She's charged with first-degree murder, right? So, I just think this arrest, this really must have shocked the community. And again, it was recent, March 17th, right? So, details of Ashley Okland's murder case won't be released to maintain integrity of the judicial process. She was booked into the Dallas County Jail at approximately 4:30 p.m. on March 17th, 2026. And she's being held on a $2 million cash-only bond. Earlier, Panache Luxury said she has had 15 years of freedom. She does not need bond, right? So she's being held on a $2 million cash-only bond. Police have stated that they do not expect any additional arrests. Officials have been extremely limited with the details. They have not released the motive, the exact nature of the connection between Ramsey and Ashley, or what specific evidence led to the grand jury indictment. Prosecutors have said that releasing more information now could jeopardize the prosecution. A former prosecutor noted the public may not learn many specifics until or after the trial. Whoa. So it's going to be one of those cases where we might not hear too much more from here. This will be our deep dive. Until trial? When's the trial? Do tell us. Okay, the date has not been set yet, by the way. Also, a question that comes to my mind is, did this Kristin Ramsey, did she know the guy with the black SUV or no? Just a question, right? I just wonder. Probably. I think they all work together, but yeah, they're not going to say much. And again, they say that they do not foresee any further arrests. Ramsey's only other run-in with the law was in 2001 when she was issued a speeding ticket, a speedster, everyone, okay, after going up to 10 miles per hour over in a 55 mile per hour zone, court records show. She pled guilty to that offense. Yeah, Stefan's like, after the trial. So that does sound like no cameras in the courtroom, right? Actually, we've never covered an Iowa trial. Do they not have cameras in the courtroom in Iowa? They're probably not going to have it for this trial based on what they just said, right? Okay, so she is due in court today. Well, at least her attorneys are, where her defense attorneys will argue for her bond to be lowered. They want it to be $100,000, not $2 million. And they argue she's not a flight risk, that she's, lived in that area. That's where that information comes from. Otherwise, we wouldn't have known from those documents. They say that she lived in the area where she was arrested since she was 10 years old. She's got all her family there, that she would have a GPS ankle monitor, that she's not a flight risk whatsoever. So they're arguing that today, okay? And the judge will have to rule on that motion today. They also want to quash a search warrant for her cell phones and electronic devices. They don't want Uncle Google to get her? Come on, man. Okay, anyway, and arguing the devices didn't exist in 2011 and they lack probable cause. Well, then why do you care so much, huh? Why? What's on defense? What's on those devices? We want to know, okay? Did she research the case a lot? Probably. She probably researched the case a lot. Hey? Can you imagine? Oh my word, imagine if she attended, well, there weren't too many press conferences like this one along the way, but imagine if she attended press conferences, vigils, the funeral, who knows? Scary. Okay, again, she's presumed innocent unless proven guilty in a court of law. An arraignment has been set for April 10th of 2026, so that's the next court date after today. Today's hearings from the defense. Let's see how they go with that. And then the arraignment is set for April 10th, 2026. The Dallas County Attorney's Office and the Iowa Attorney General's Office will jointly prosecute the case. Okay, yeah. Old school girl said, that's the argument? Wow. Yes, that's the argument. They're like, those devices, they did not exist then, okay? Can't have those. And I'm like, but we want them, right? Go, what did she Google? Did she have pictures saved on her phone, huh? Did she text anyone about anything? Who knows? I would think that her internet searches are going to be quite interesting. Now let me show you the rest of this clip over here.
Yesterday, March 17th, 2026, West Des Moines police detectives arrested 53-year-old Kristin Ramsey without incident. She is currently being held at the Dallas County Jail. She has been indicted by the Dallas County Grand Jury for the offense of murder in the first degree. At this time, no other arrests are anticipated. As significant as this arrest is, our work is not done yet.
Good morning.
Sorry, Josh. Sorry, no, I got a cat hair on my lip. Okay, sorry about that. March 18th, 2026 press conference. This shame. Here is her brother. This is Ashley's brother. 15 years later. And her sister. Wow. I mean, they've been waiting a long time for this day, right? I also want to tell you that I've only clipped this press conference in full transparency because I know that you guys, your favorite thing, is not when when press conferences are basically a big pat on the back over and over and over again. I know you don't like that. You always express that. So what I did was I'm just showing you the clip where they said what they just said, and then I'm showing you the clips from Ashley's brother and sister, and that's it. But what I've done is link the full press conference, which is 15 minutes long, in the description box for you. If you'd like to see them pat themselves on the back a lot, one after the other, which, well done, great investigation, 15 years, right? I just know people are hungry for information, and when they can't give information and they can only applaud themselves, the public gets a little bit annoyed, right? Even though they did such a good job. Okay, let's listen to what Josh and Brittany said.
Thank you all for being here. My name is Josh Okland. It's my sister Brittany. Ashley was our older sister. Today is a day my family has thought about very often over the last 14 years. We have so many people to thank, a lot of them in this room. I'd like to start by thanking West Des Moines. The West Des Moines Police Department have done so much for us over the last 15 years. Tom Boyd, Brian Gruby, Jason Hatcher, all of you guys, you've been great to us. I can't thank you enough. All the other people that are part of this organization that helped on this case. I know there's so many of you that I don't know and haven't met, but thank you for your countless hours helping on Ashley's case. I'd like to thank the Attorney General, Brenna Bird, for setting up the cold case investigative unit, Steve Ponsetto for assembling a great team, Chad Lovick for being absolutely wonderful to us and a dedicated detective on Ashley's case. We have full confidence in Matt Schultz, Scott Brown, and their prosecution on this case. We look forward to working with them. I'd like to thank the media, several of you in here that I've spoke to over the last several years, keeping Ashley's story alive. And also, I want to thank all of our family, all of our friends, and the network of people around us. They have been there for us every step of the way. We can't thank you enough.
Okay, so you're all asking me, is her mom still alive? Is her dad still alive? Yes, from my research, both parents are still alive. They are divorced. But no, they didn't speak at the press conference, but they are still alive. So I can't imagine what a relief this must be that an arrest has been made after all this time, right?
Good morning. I'd also like to thank you all for being here. That Friday afternoon when Ashley was taken from us seems so long ago. We had lost our hope in finding answers and having any justice for Ashley. It was really difficult to accept that the case had gone cold. A little less than a year ago, I met Chad and Steve, who were assigned to the case, and they promised me that they would give it their all every day. And they truly did. Alongside all of the hands in the West Des Moines Police Department who over the years have been relentless in working on this. They've been given the chance to work on Ashley's case, dedicating their focus and time to it. So that was definitely a gift to us. Their dedication, commitment to Ashley, their drive and work ethic is a true gift from God that we feel fortunate to be touched by. I'd like to thank Brenna Bird for assembling this unit so families like us can experience what we did yesterday. I hope to see more families get to go through that. Chad and Steve for accepting your role on this unit and the challenge for seeking justice for families like us. All of the West Des Moines Police Department that have been involved in this case to assist with getting where we are today.
Sorry, Brittany, but Kathleen, you're right. You said the family can thank whoever they like. It gets tedious when law enforcement go on and on about it. Appreciate the edit. You guys, if you go watch the original press conference, you're going to understand. The family, that's fine. They can thank everybody. They must be so grateful that finally there's an arrest made.
The families of all of these investigators, the people who tried to help Ashley on April 8th and their families, to our family, friends, and Ashley's realty community, who have supported us and let Ashley's legacy continue. When the West Des Moines detectives who worked in this case into their retirement, during their retirement, and never quitting on Ashley. The prosecutors and their teams for their commitment to this case and seeing it through. As Josh said, we have full confidence in their abilities to see this through. Again, I want to thank you for being here. We ask for privacy for our families as we deal with the days to come and even the years to come. I'd also ask for you to give the same privacy and respect to the suspects' families. They don't deserve to be hounded. And yeah, please give them respect. Thank you.
A West Des Moines townhome development is now...
Okay, sorry, I just started replaying on its own there. All right, so that was the press conference. Now, I still have documents to show you and some map time. So let's look at the map time. Okay, so let us quickly bring up this map over here. There you go. So there's not too much to show except for, you know, where it happened. And also just Woodward, Iowa. I wanted to know, like, how far is that? Which is where the person was arrested, that Kristin Ramsey, right? So she has grown up in get the name right? Woodward, Iowa. Since she was 10 years old, this is where the suspect, or the defendant now, the defendant's from, where she lived since, you know, since she was 10 years old and all of that. Okay. And then where the crime happened, and it's about a 37 or 33, call it 35-minute drive from the crime scene, 26 or so miles, right? Okay, so if we just go here to this, just to show you where this happened, it was 558 again. This is public record for 15 years. I'm not showing anything I'm not supposed to be showing or doxing anyone. This is like where the crime scene was, 558 Stone Creek Court. Let's see what the little, the little man can't do much here. He doesn't, oh, can we go here? Can we go here? Put him there. Hello, excuse me, sir. He doesn't want to be put on the ground. But this is where it is. Let's see if I can tilt it a bit quickly. Hold on. Ooh. That's the best we can do with it. Just looking around this area. So that's where the open house was. That's where Ashley Okland, shame, was shot at 27 years old. Once in the chest and once in the head. Now, Maurice in Australia said, did the guy in the black SUV really unalive himself? Or did she also unalive him? That is a good question, Maurice. Oh my, right? They haven't said anything like that, but I know we have inquiring minds. Also, if you go to, is this the one? Wait, yeah, this is what the house looked like, you know, at the time. Wait, let me just zoom out a little bit. How about that? So again, it's 558 Stone Creek Court, West Des Moines. Okay, And so this would be the open house that Ashley had that day. So whether the person had an appointment with her or just arrived, or other person being, at this point, you know, the defendant, Kristin Ramsey, who worked for the company that built and owned these townhomes, the one that Ashley was having the open house for? Yeah. How did someone see her go there? Did someone see her leave the area? Was she never deemed suspicious because she worked for that company, or what? My goodness. Okay, so is that it? There's no other pictures? Why are these all just white pictures? No, we want to see the pictures, right? So that is what I have there for you now. Let us quickly have a look at the documents. Let's go here. Wait. There you go. This was just received today. Again, thank you so much, Grizzly Cat, for obtaining this for me so that I could show the Grizzlies. Araceli Spicy Chica, it's so nice to see you. In chat, you said, hola Grizzlies, dormant cases to solved cases. Isn't that great? Thanks for being a member for 31 months. Okay, so this is in the Iowa, wait, I gotta move it down for you. In the, there you go, State of Iowa plaintiff versus Kristin. Hey, they spelled it like that too. Stop it. Wait. See? They make typos too, okay? Kristin. It's Kristin. Kristin Ramsey, defendant. Grand jury, true bill, indictment. With their date on here, hold on. This is March 17th, okay, 10:36 a.m. On top comes now the grand jury for Dallas County, and in the name of the authority of the state of Iowa, accuses the above named defendant of the crime of murder in the first degree, a Class A felony in violation of Iowa Code Section 707.1 and 707.2, committed as follows. The said defendant on or about April 8th of 2011 in the city of West Des Moines, county of Dallas, and state of Iowa did, with malice aforethought, willfully, deliberately, and with premeditation, kill another person, or did kill another person, Ashley Marie Okland, state of Iowa, sorry, no, let's not skip vowels here. State of Iowa, county of Dallas, so it's not Dallas, Texas, okay? It's the county of Dallas in Iowa, and signed. This is foreman of the grand jury. Okay, don't name the grand jury, you naughty. Okay, let's just quickly see here. Okay, so there you can see, I'm just checking, oh dear, is like a date of birth on here? It's not right, it's not. Okay, so booking date, 17th of March, 2026, $2 million total cash bond, West Des Moines Police Department. And here you can see court dates at the bottom here. 18th of the 3rd, 9 a.m. Then the 30th of the 3rd, see that, 9 a.m. The 10th of April, also 9 a.m. and 1:30 p.m. So that would be the arraignment date. Murder in the first degree, a felony, trigger warning for a a mugshot that's very close up. Now, you ready? I'm not saying trigger warning for how she looks. It's just like a booking photo that's super zoomed in. Damn. Okay, there we go. That is what we have. Okay. I do also have this state of Iowa plaintiff versus Kristin. See, they spelled it right there. Ramsey defendant. Miss Ramsey's motion for a bond review and request for expedited hearing. It's 17 pages long, so I'm not going to read all this now, but I did summarize it for you by telling you what the defense is fighting today. They want today to have Kristin's bond lowered to $100,000. They foresee that she will be released on bond, and that then she would have that's what the defense wants, right? No one said that she's going to be released or that the lower bond will be granted. That's what the defense is fighting for. And they obviously think if it gets lowered, she will be able to pay it. Her husband, she's married with a son who's in university. Shame. What a shock to them. Can you imagine? Anyway, and so they like, no, her whole family's there. She grew up there from when she was 10 in Woodward, Iowa. She's not a flight risk. Just lower the bond, let her out, let her wear an ankle monitor. So we shall see what the judge does with that. I don't think the judge will, right? Hold on. Kristin Ramsey. Let's see if there's any news. Nothing yet. Nope, everything's still from a day ago, a week ago, 2 weeks ago. So I'll keep you posted, okay? Always monitor like the pinned comments. For example, this case we're doing now, If I find something in the next few hours that's an update that, yes, okay, her bond was not lowered or it was lowered or whatever it may be, I will put an update in the pinned comment, okay? Sometimes I also make a YouTube short for you. Sometimes I also update you on the community post, the community tab, and sometimes I'm also going to update you on Patreon. So you can join the free tier there, or you can join any of the paid tiers you want. Then you will get updates over there and notifications. So those are the documents we have. Did we go over everything? I feel like I almost need a checklist now. Wait, I've got some scribbles there. No, I think we went over everything. Hold on one second. Model townhome, that's what I read. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's what we have. So I really appreciate you being here with me to study this case, a cold case, another one. Wow. Solved? Question mark? Presumably solved after 15 years, an arrest was made, right? Okay, I quickly want to, before I go, just test one thing. Tell me if you can hear the sound now. Just tell me, okay? Can you hear the sound of this clip or no?
A West Des Moines townhome development is now a crime scene. Shortly after 2 o'clock, a worker for Realtor Homes, the company that developed the area, heard a commotion inside this model townhome. And
can you hear that or no? Just tell me, just so that I know what YouTube's doing. Was it something earlier? Is it something now? Is it something else I need to look into? Tell me, okay? I'm waiting for an answer, and then I'm going to say goodbye. Also, wait. Farotelaine said, I had a colleague pull a gun on me back in 2009. He was jealous and mad I got promoted. I'm lucky to be here. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry to hear that, and I'm glad that you're okay. Okay, you guys can hear it. Excellent. Susie Q said, maybe the lady who heard the commotion was actually the... No, Susie Q. Anybody that missed the beginning of the live stream, the beginning of the presentation, if you appreciate chronological timelines like I do, okay, we start from the top. We say, who is this person? What happened? Which day did it happen? What are all those details? And then we ask lots of questions along the way. Please go back to the beginning and check that out. I'll make some timestamps for you now as well. All right, everyone, thank you so much, and I will keep you posted. I hope that justice will be served for Ashley Okland. Wow, and I hope the trial will be soon. Let that not now take 5 years, please, right? Okay, so see you very soon again, everyone. Leave your comments below so I can respond to them, maybe even with a voice note. Bye, everyone.